Bambu Lab has issued a callback for the A1 due to a potential fire hazard. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here and you are dealing with printer issues, we are here to help you. Normally, these episodes are all about looking at print fails and fixing them. And if you do have print failures that you want us to take a look at, you can send them to us on all the social medias. You can slide into those DMs if you'd like, or you can email us directly, youtube@3dmusketeers.com, where, as a lot of you found out, we reply directly and try to help you get your printers back to printing with purpose. The A1 is a pretty interesting printer from Bambu. Even with their AMS, this machine is one of the more affordable printers on the market at $559 US with a 4-color multi-material system. It is a stunning value at 256 millimeters cubed, which is what I would say if the machine wasn't part of a callback, which I would much rather see us call a recall, because, well, it can catch fire from the cables, and this is something really serious. So let's dive right into talking about it. But hey, if you don't mind leaving a like on the video, subscribing if you haven't, it does help the channel grow. We can see that Bambu has received feedback concerning unstable temperature readings and heating issues of A1 printers. They conducted a comprehensive investigation, and they believe they need to take action to ensure the reliability and safety of their products. Yes, safety is a big deal. You don't want to end up like Ford with the Pinto. Definitely don't want that. And they can see the investigation revealed that the cause of those issues is linked to the damage at the root of the cable, which is the connecting point of the Heatbed cable to the base of the printer. We can see here in even one of their own renderings of this machine actually has a pretty short cable, but that area right there, the one where the cable connects directly to the back of the machine, is the source of this problem. And we can see that they've identified some issues, and unfortunately, none of them are, we didn't engineer it properly. We can see that there's potentially rough handling during transport, like dropping the package in certain directions so that the root of the cable is impacted. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but every experience that I've had with Bambu's packaging has been probably one of the best packaging experiences that I've had when companies aren't considering sustainability and environment in that actual packaging itself. So I don't think that's going to be a thing, because if they can ship a X1 carbon that has 2 glass panels without having major issues with the glass breaking, I don't know if I'm really, lining up with that one. We can see that during the installation, if the base is vertically placed on the table with the cable side at the bottom, all the weight of the printer will be concentrated on the root of the cable, causing damage. Yeah, I can see that happening, but this is something that should have been found in basic user experience testing. Users will often pick a printer up by the front. That's a very normal thing to do, and is a normal thing to do when you're putting an A1 together to get it printing. And we can see that after installation, the cable's root on the printer base is impacted by external force by accident. That one is somewhat unpredictable, right? Remember, if you test for human interactions, the world will provide you with a, more problematic human interaction. But I believe that the base of this should be easily explained here, because we should not attribute to malice what can easily be explained by incompetence. And unfortunately, I believe we have a case of the latter here. Mind you, the former would be much worse, but I do believe this is the latter. Now, I am not a cable strain engineer, and I don't know if Bambu has one, but even I know that when you have a bit of cable strain that ends abruptly, you end up with a point load right at the edge of it, because the actual wire itself is well constrained within the cable strain relief, and then all of a sudden is no longer. That's why a lot of cable strain relief tends to taper off rather than have a hard end like this. But it's not like Bambu is a first timer in dealing with cable strain. In fact, the X1 carbon, they have cable chain on their X and Y axes, and cable chain would have solved this problem. Heck, even the kind of odd way that some other companies like Prusa have done it, where they just use a piece of 3mm nylon filament to deal with cable strain, that would have also worked here. But I also look at this and say, that's a very short cable in and of itself. When it comes to shipping, I think it'd be pretty easy to engineer a part that fits into the cable power plug here that covers this to make sure that you don't have that problem. And I feel like Bambu's engineers are smart enough to figure that out. I mean, honestly, look at the actual build of this. There's a non-trivial amount of engineering that went into it. Bambu is providing a DIY solution, which is we send you the parts and you fix it yourself and we will compensate you. We have since found out that this compensation for your time of dealing with mains power is one random spool of PLA filament. Now, I don't know about you, but I've talked about this many times in our podcast. We'll actually card to the most recent episode where you're not charging enough for your time and you are likely quite undervaluing the time that you have, and that's not worth it. Adding onto it that it is illegal in many areas to do that type of work if you are not a certified electrician. And I can tell you, this requires you to be comfortable with handling mains voltage. And while you can unplug your printer all day long, if you don't do this upgrade perfectly, you are left open to some level of liability as far as I'm concerned in my, non-lawyer capacity. But Bambu is offering the ability to just send your printer back. We can see here, if you are not comfortable replacing the bed by yourself, we completely understand and will replace the whole printer for you. I highly recommend that all individuals involved get their printers replaced. I don't care if your printer is experiencing the issue or not. It is a time bomb as far as this is concerned. And while every Ford Pinto owner did not deal with getting bumped in the rear end and their car spontaneously combusting, it was still an issue. I want to make another car reference here, and I hope that you guys will be able to follow along. I drive a 2002 Honda Accord. That's my daily driver. It's 22 years old, and just last year, it had a recall for the Takata airbags. And actually, if you drive an older Toyota Camry, well, you have just gotten a letter because of your Takata airbags. And while I don't intend to be in a collision where the airbag is going to deploy, I'm going to bring my car in to get it fixed. This is a voluntary recall. This is what needs to be done here. A voluntary recall. A callback is legalese for we don't want to take responsibility. A recall is getting in front of it and actually taking responsibility. We can see that if your cable is intact, which is the case for most customers, to proactively safeguard your cable against future damage, they have engineered a cable protector that acts like an extra strain relief. This device takes 30 seconds to install without the need for any tools and is to restrict the cable bending angle, thereby offering preventative protection. And within the next month, they will be dispatching cable protectors to all of their customers who have made past purchases. I'm particularly curious as to how they're going to deal with purchases through resellers, secondhand purchases. Where does the line get drawn? We can see that Micro Center has been pulling the A1s from display from Ellie Rose here, where they're just not there anymore. They're not for sale, and they are returning their inventory. This is not a trivial thing here, ladies and gentlemen. The damage that can be caused by this is pretty serious, because Bambu states that the damage is occurring here, but we can see on this particular machine, we have damage further up in the cable. When you deal with copper moving, it will work harden. Any basic metal that can be used to transfer energy appropriately, as it bends and moves, will work harden and break. It's why if you own a Prusa Mark III's, you're probably used to replacing the bed thermistors every now and then, because over time, they do wear out. It's not the bed thermistor going bad, it's the cable breaking. And if you don't have proper adequate strain relief, this is going to happen. Particularly on thermistors, the cables are just so thin, there's really not much you can do about it. It's kind of expected on most bed slingers to have to deal with that at some point, but it's not something that you should have to do on a machine like a Bambu, where they are effectively marketing the setup, click, print, go, without any type of need of human interaction from your end other than making sure the bed is clean. This is not acceptable. This is a fire. We can see scorching marks on the machine itself. We can see a fair bit of the cable that has been burned, and we can see here of what it looks like when the issue is starting. And I do believe the bed cable here is actually on the wrong side of the power plug too. But if it's something that is possible for end users to do, end users will find a way to do it. Sorry, end users. We all kind of suck at that. But we can also see what it would take to do this repair yourself. We can see the bed cable coming in and then breaking out to a bunch of different little connections. Things that are around power supplies. Power supplies that, if they don't have the proper ways to drain the power from the supply, have enough energy in them to cause bodily injury and or death. So please don't do this. Just get a new printer. Please. Please. It is not safe for you to do this. And we can see here that RUBready, by the way, great name, has made the part and already installed it. And, well, if you're like me, you're looking at this saying you're just pushing the issue further up the cable. In fact, you're giving the cable less opportunity to flex. If the printer is still tilted backwards, this is still going to have a problem. If the printer is pushed up against a wall, this is still going to have a problem. And if this is pulled tight, this is still going to have a problem. And while, yes, this is fresh copper, this is not a solution. This is going to require, in my opinion, a full recall of these machines, and I hope that Bambu does step up. Their community is currently praising them for being proactive, and while I'm glad that Bambu is getting out in front of this, this is not being proactive. This is reactive. Proactive would have been to slow down on product development. Bambu pushes out printers incredibly fast, with some internal reports coming to us saying that the next printer for them is coming out on the 5th of February, which would continue their 4-month lead cycle between new machines. I don't know about you, but 4 months, and sure, they could be developing it for quite a bit of time beforehand, but how many machines are they co-developing at once? And I believe that any reasonable amount of testing when it comes to dealing with these type of problems would have found this very quickly. Just overall testing of these machines, a few thousand hours of it just going back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth, would have likely found this problem pretty quickly. We see that on our Prushas, which have bed cables somewhat similar. Every 1,000 to 1,500 hours or so of print time, the thermistors fail on the bed. So we just replace them every 750 hours proactively. Why? Because we don't want it to cause a failure, because once a failure is occurring, you are no longer being proactive, you're being reactive. But I urge anyone that is an A1 owner to start the ticket process with Bambu. They have a dedicated link for you to go to where you can do a ticket. But it is the holiday season right now, with Chinese New Year right around the corner, and Bambu having less than stellar response times, even when they're not going absolutely crazy internally. But let's be real here. The last thing we need in this industry is another potential for a house fire. And while I have faith that Bambu has done reasonably decent engineering here, I don't know if the cables on the A1 are actually fire retardant, which is what you would want to see and would be a requirement if these machines were actually to be UL listed, which as far as I can tell, they are not. Now, in some counties, in some areas, and in some countries, UL listing will be required for these machines. Bambu is ETL listed, but those are completely different fields. I believe that at least the stations of UL, right, the pillars of what they stand for are good, and machines like this should be UL listed, because it would keep problems like this from occurring. And if they do occur, the cables are going to be fire retardant anyways. Outside of a small short, we're not going to see anything further come out of it, which is what we would want to see. And Bambu is putting a pretty hard stance here, right? With the FAQ of, is my A1 safe to print? They say it is safe to print with your A1 if you do not see any obvious damage to the heatbed cable. Wrong. Please, outside of the very obvious burned hole in this, find me the damage in this heatbed cable, because I don't see it. I believe that your Bambu A1 is not safe, and you should stop printing with it immediately. Do not print the cable guard connector thing that they have, and they have properly used Maker World. I will give them credit for it. They've got a great little GIF on how to assemble it and how to install it, but this isn't a solution. This is a band-aid to a hemorrhage. Bambu, I urge you to change this callback to an actual fully fledged recall. It would be the right thing to do here. And I think if we look at this from the perspective of if this was any other company, if this was Prusa, Creality, or any of the other larger brands out there, they'd be getting raked over the hot coals right now. And there'd be regulatory issues for companies like Prusa because they produce and sell within the EU. But I would urge you, if you have an A1, to immediately stop printing with it. Go ahead and fill out the ticket with Bambu. And if you don't have another printer, if you want to do the cable protector, I guess that will keep you printing. But I would argue that any insurance company would look at this as being a serious issue, with an end user taking repairs into their own hands that should very clearly be done by a licensed professional, aka the company. While I recognize this is a hemorrhage for Bambu, both on the PR side and on the financial side, this is the cost of doing business when you don't do things right 100%. Companies make mistakes, and I am 100% here for it. I understand that companies will make mistakes, and I'm here to see how they make those adjustments. However, I do not believe that a blog post and a social media post is adequate. I believe that all buyers of these machines need to be notified on multiple fronts. Bambu has their shipping information. Letters should be sent out. We should be seeing emails go out, and we should be seeing resellers put a stance out on this as well. This is a real problem that can create fire. Seriously. And we can see that even people like Jason from LDO has an A1 and wants to return it. LDO is known for making phenomenal printer kits. In fact, we're building a Trident right now. If you guys want to watch that series, we'll card to it so you can see it. But I can't help but look at this meme and say, yeah, it's kind of true, right? We have to get in front of this before it causes more problems. So what can you do as a Bambu Lab A1 owner? I think immediately the answer is to stop printing with your machine. I don't want to see that happen. I want to see people be able to continually print with their machines. However, I can't guarantee the safety, neither can you, and I can promise that Bambu cannot either. And in fact, I think that this is negligent, but I'm not an attorney. I'm glad that they're not going to void anybody's warranty for installing the new cable protector, and I do hope that Bambu solves this problem, because while they say the A1 Mini is not affected, I don't know if it is. We might see similar issues because the A1 does have similar plugs to the A1 regular. This could have been easily solved, and I think this was a choice that was done for design, right? Where function follows form, not form follows function. And unfortunately, that is what happens. I hope that Bambu can get in front of it, and it seems like they're going to make a valiant attempt, and I like to see that. But I do believe that we have to dock some points here and hold companies accountable and say that no, while you are going to fix it and that's great, it should not have happened in the first place. So I hope that any of you that are Bambu A1 users out there, go ahead and submit your tickets, take pictures, document. Because if Bambu tells you your machine is safe, I'd be putting a camera back there watching that cable 24 hours a day, because in the event that something does occur and Bambu said that my printer was safe, I don't want to know what that means, but I can tell you it's not good. I want to see people enjoying their time with their machines. I don't want to see Bambu get a bad rep because of what is objectively a silly mistake and should have been caught in engineering. But I believe that this incompetence is not the first time that we've seen it. And I hope that it's the last, but I have a feeling it won't be. And that's upsetting, because Bambu has really upset this community in a positive way, right? We're seeing a renaissance era of consumer-grade 3D printing, and Bambu is leading that charge, regardless of what people think. The thing is, it's stuff like this that kind of makes you say, are they leading the charge, but at what cost? I would urge anyone that owns a Bambu printer to check your cables, right? I can confidently say that the X1 with the cable chain, those are going to be fine. But the bed cables that kind of rub up against the lead screw, you might want to be checking those more often. We've seen issues where those bed cables can wear out because it wears through from the actual lead screw on the machine itself. Just be careful, everybody. 3D printers are not yet appliances, and they still need a little bit of work. If they're sold as appliances, they should be treated as such as well. We have recalls, like nationwide recalls on appliances. And if Bambu wants to consider their product close to an appliance, I think it's time to issue a recall and not a callback. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts down below, because I'm obviously I'm middle of the road on this. I could get real upset and go on a massive rant about this, but I think that takes away from the value of it. And if you're in the Discord, you've probably already heard me talk about this ad nauseum. Hey, future Grant here, because apparently we have to do these things. Bambu has apparently sent out information to their content creator sphere that is not public information. I want to bring something to note here, because this is a big deal. Right here in Bambu's own Callback article, they say, is my A1 safe to print? It is safe to print with your A1 if you do not see obvious damage to the heatbed cable. However, to prevent further inconvenience, we request that all customers install the A1 cable protector. So this is what a content creator got this morning. They made a video on it. That video has now since been privatized. I don't know if it's up yet as of releasing this video, but as of filming this portion, 9 a.m. Friday morning, no, it's not yet available. We can see that recently Bambu Lab published a blog with the A1 Heatbed cable following comprehensive investigation into unstable temperature readings and heating issues with our A1 printers. We identified the root cause of these problems as damage to the Heatbed cable and provided solutions based on the cable's condition as outlined in the following blog link, which we covered earlier in this video. Though the feedback we have received so far indicates the damage has occurred in only a small portion of printers, we have come to the conclusion that we need to take further actions to minimize potential problems and risks for users operating our machines. Therefore, to safeguard the safety and rights of our users to the greatest extent, we advise you to refrain from operating your A1, regardless of whether your Heatbed cable is damaged. We are currently in discussions to formulate the most appropriate solution and will release our plan through official channels as soon as possible. We appreciate your patience. If anyone inquires to you about this matter, please kindly advise them to cease using the machine and await official reply. Emphasize that Bambu Lab prioritizes user safety and is committed to providing the best solution for all users. Again, we deeply apologize for the inconvenience. If you have any further questions, do not hesitate to contact us. Well, see, that's really interesting to me because right here in the public release that is public to all parties, it says it's totally safe to use your machine. But then Bambu is going to send this email to internal people only, basically giving influencers that are within their sphere a knowledge that this is actually dangerous and that Bambu is misleading the public. And clearly that email was not meant to go public, but none of that's my problem. I'm just reporting on what we find. But I don't know about the rest of you. This seems real freaking shady. I want to be able to give companies the benefit of the doubt. Hanlon's razor. Don't attribute to malice what you can attribute to, I'm going to edit it a little bit, incompetence. This is them trying to utilize their influencer sphere to push a narrative so that when they push their own narrative, that it's well received. That doesn't fly around here, Bambu. You can't just send safety information to some because you like them and not alert the entire public when you have told the entire public that it is safe to print with your A1. This is not a good look, Bambu. Come on, guys. This isn't your first rodeo, and this isn't the first time you've been called out for doing this kind of thing. And yeah, my official stance, stop using your A1 immediately. And now, I can at least confirm that Bambu agrees with me. I am appalled that they would do something like this, and I surely hope that it was just a translation issue or something that we could easily explain. But this, you can't easily explain that. Let me know what you guys think in those comments below. I'm going to pass it back to past Grant to lead out of this video, but current Grant's really upset about this, and I think you all are going to be as well. No, you thought we were done with Future Grant, but apparently it's one of those types of episodes where I have to do two. We have further evidence to kind of back what I was saying, and I want to show it to you guys. We have an individual here who posted some information on the Bambu Lab A1 series owners Facebook group. We can see that they actually did a dissection of the A1's cable. And so let's take a look at their findings. It says, hey guys, all machines have cable issues, all of them. I just received a new bed from Bambu Lab, and I took apart the famous cable. It seems they wrapped a ground wire to the signal cable for the Heatbed temp sensor. Don't do that. And for all of you that didn't ground your machine, this could be an issue with Heatbed temp failure, pictures 1 and 2. I also opened the piece of plastic that you can see a small part of where the cable comes out of the machine. This plastic is heat pressed onto the cable, which can cause the cable to melt to a point where you can actually see the metal, pictures 3 and 4, and video. Made a new cable using old grounded signal cables, added new 220-volt quality cable, and wrapped in rubber cable organizer. Let's take a look at this. This is really anemic wire. This might be 18 gauge. We're dealing with mains connected. I know that 18 gauge can technically handle it, but this is probably part of the reason. When you do cables that need to move a lot, you want lots of thin stranded wire with very soft silicone style jacketing. That is ideal in a scenario like this. That is what we would want to see. But this is, I'm sorry, I have to say it, it's value engineering. This is value engineering at its finest. We can see that they went ahead and did a great little dissection here. Good job, by the way. It looks like surgical precision, where we can see that, yep, we've got grounded leads here, but we also have ground coiled up with another cable. We can now see the protector itself with what could be some damage right there. And you can see the metal in this video. I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with this, guys. I will call it here, and I will say the same thing that Bambu decided to say to internal content creators and not the entire public. Stop using your A1s immediately. This is not safe. Please don't do it. This is unfortunately the case of something that has been value engineered. The reason that we don't have bed cables break on other machines is that they do tend to use higher quality cables. And it's funny that I'm saying that about some of the really low cost machines that we have here that use higher quality cables than what we see in this case. It looks like it's an extension cord with some, what honestly looks like Cat 5e or Cat 6 cable for the thermistor and other thing. It's like we used a commercial off-the-shelf component for something that really should have been a custom component. Obviously, I can't confirm or deny that allegation, obviously, because it's just a guess. But I am certainly worried about these machines. So if you do own a Bambu Lab A1, please, 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 please do not use it further. Get in touch with Bambu and let's go ahead and get this thing taken care of. This is one hell of a stain on Bambu's track record. This is unfortunately what happens sometimes, and I hope that Bambu will take care of it. My idea is that they will, but this absolutely should have been found in testing, and I think any other major 3D printing company would have found this. This is what user testing is for. This is what long-term testing is for, and shame on you, Bambu, for shipping a product that clearly doesn't have the adequate testing that it needs. I don't know what else to say here, guys. I am both disappointed and I'm angry. We deserve better as a community. We have to hold Bambu accountable because Bambu is not telling us the truth. They're telling their influencers and insiders the truth. But as of filming this video, 11:15 a.m. Friday, February 2nd, Bambu has not told the public what they have told influencers and content creators. And that is just not okay. Love to know your thoughts in those comments below, but I'm gonna go and pass it back to Past Grant for the final time. I promise. I want to see change enacted from this. I want to see lessons learned because mistakes happen. And while we've been lucky that no major loss of materials, homes, or even life has occurred, it's not unreasonable to suspect that that could happen here. And I believe it is worth kind of looking at all of Bambu printers if this was something that got by engineering. But I hope I'm not the only one that liked this video. And hey, that button's right below. You guys know where the like button is. Subscribe if you haven't as well. And if you do want to support us, you can join the awesome people whose names are listed right next to me at the $5 tier and higher. Links, of course, down below for all of that. And at the $10 tier and higher, you get to come hang out in our private Discord server with myself, the entire 3D Musketeers team, and Victoria when she's not off doing important cat things. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I did a good job of explaining the situation and what is being done about it and my thoughts. That's all I have for you guys today. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. Check your printer wires, because I didn't realize I'd have to say that. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one.